Okay, so we are at week. Oh my gosh, what week is this? Week 100. We are at week. Where are we at in the? Oh, 6 of poetry. So this is our last time where I'm going to pull out 2 new poems for you to read through and analyze with me. And then the next round, next week will be the winners from week 1 and week 2. And if you remember, week 1, the poem that won was I'm Offering This Poem. And then the week 2 was Happiness. So those 2 poems will go head to head, and you'll analyze them in a little bit different way. And then we have Last Night the Rain Spoke to Me. And then the Eating Alone, those 2 will go ahead. And then I don't know who won last week yet. I'll do that later this afternoon. It's only 9 o'clock on Monday. And so I'll see who won last week, and then who wins this week, and then we get it down to very few, and then yeah, we have a winner. Okay, so let's talk about the poem today. So the first one I want you to look at, it's called The Delight of Zhao Tali, and I want you to have the poem open, and I want you to look at the poem while I'm talking. So open up a new tab. Or click on it and a new tab will open up. So as you look at this, you can see the picture I picked, that face. Hopefully you can recognize it. It's a Native American face because the author, the poet, N. Scott Momaday, he is Native American. He is from the Kiowa Indian tribe, and he grew up all over the Southwest, but Wyoming is where he actually got his Native American name. And so his Native American name is Zhao Tali, and that means rock tree boy. So you can tell that this poem is about him because it's the delight of Zhao Tali. So, and you can also tell that the mood of the poem is hopeful because the word delight means that something good is going on. So if you look at it, you can see it's not a super long poem. It's 24 lines long. You can see it's grouped into 2 stanzas, and that first stanza is really long, 18 lines long. And the last stanza looks like it's about 6 lines long. And if you just glance at it, you see a lot of repetition. I am, I am, I am, I am, I am. And then if you look at the second stanza, I stand, I stand, I stand. And remember, poems are meant to be read out loud, but Momaday uses more Native American writing techniques than in this poem than we've seen so far. So Native American writers, they often use like 3 characteristics. The first one that Momaday uses especially, it's about a boy who undergoes a change into manhood. And so when he became a man, he got his name, his Native American name, Zhao Tali. And the second thing he uses is a lot of personification of either animals acting human or non-human things acting human. And then the relationship of the man to the land that he lives in. And so because Momaday is a man, I'm using the word man, but if it was a Native American female writer, then we could use her. So and poems are meant in this tradition. Native Americans, they would speak, they would chant, they would dance, they would sing poems. And so this one is meant to be spoken out loud, and it has a very joyful mood to it. And then if you look at the very bottom, there's 2 footnotes. Just Palme Blanche, just a word that's in the poem. If you see on line 15, that's that word Palme Blanche. It's actually French. It means white apple, but it's a plant with heavy edible roots, and it's also called breadroot. And then the Sentant, it's a heroic and respected 19th century Kiowa chief known for his bold raids on both white and Native American settlements. So just a couple words that are defined in this poem. So let's read it. I think it's very accessible to you. I think it's easy to understand, but just remember it's about Cao Tai Li, this young man, and his delight. Okay? I am a feather on a bright sky. I am the blue horse that runs in the plain. I am the fish that rolls shining in the water. I am the shadow that follows a child. I am the evening light, the luster of meadows. I am an eagle playing with the wind. I am a cluster of bright beads. I am the farthest star. I am the cold of the dawn. I am the roaring of the rain. I am the glitter on the crust of the snow. I am the long track of the moon in a lake. I am a flame of 4 colors. I am a deer standing away in the dusk. I am a field of sumac and the palme blanche. I am an angle of geese in the winter sky. I am the hunger of a young wolf. I am the whole dream of these things. You see, I am alive. I am alive. I stand in good relation to the earth. I stand in good relation to the gods. I stand in good relation to all that is beautiful. I stand in good relation of the daughter of Sentant. You see, I am alive. I am alive. So beautiful. Remember, you have personifications where non-human things act human, but you also have metaphor where you compare one thing to another thing and you don't use like or as. That would be a metaphor. If you use like or as, that would be a simile. Equally good, but this one is filled with metaphor. He compares himself to a feather in a bright sky in line 1, or if you look down to line 8, he compares himself to the furthest star, or he compares himself to on line 15 a field of sumac and the palme blanche. So he compares himself, the person, to this thing, and that's a metaphor. And it's just a beautiful poem, and you can tell by his repetition, you can tell by the words he chooses that he is very, very proud and very connected to the earth and very respectful of the earth. So you have a host of questions. I think you can figure out the rhyming scheme. Remember, you just look at the end words. You can figure out, so I don't think stuff rhymes. There's just a lot of repetition. So you know that's free verse. And then go through the animals. You might have to make a little note on a piece of paper to figure out what animals he compares himself to. And you have to check all of them to get that point. So then I want to know, like, lines 1 through 4. Are they metaphors? Are they similes? Are they the personifications? And I just got done explaining to you when you compare two things and you don't use like or as. They are non-human things acting humans, but not... I mean, it's not, nothing is acting human. He just says, I am this, I am that, comparing himself to those things. Let's see what else we got going on here. Again, 6 through 10, 11 through 15, 16 through 18. Those you should get right because I'm giving you big hints. And the poem. Ooh, I want to know what kind of poem this is. Now remember, remember that limericks are traditional poems and they have that sing-song rhythm. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Remember, hey diddle diddle, the cat and the fiddle. Okay? And then a sonnet is very traditional, 14 lines long. The last 2 lines are the couplet and has a rhyming scheme. A haiku is the 5, 7, 5 syllables, and it's always about nature. But a lyric poem has one speaker, and it's a short poem about thoughts and feelings. I think this one's pretty obvious. The theme of the poem, I think that one pops out. And then I want you to evaluate it, okay? Take a small pause, and then we'll talk about the next poem. Now, Sleeping in the Forest is by a female named Mary Oliver. And Mary Oliver is not a Native American woman, but has a very similar theme as The Delight of Cao Tai Li. You can see, if you look at it, it's 18 lines long. And when I put it into Google Forms, it does something that Mary Oliver didn't mean it to look like. So you can see it's all like flush to that left side. So I'm going to show you what it's supposed to look like. It's supposed to be centered. So it kind of looks like I feel like it looks like a woman who's kind of crouched with her hands around her knees. And yes, I realize that's a stretch. And I know that's backwards to you, but that's how I look at it, is she's kind of crouched and she's got her hands around her knees, and her knees come up underneath her chin. I can't do it because I'm sitting on a ball, but pretend like I do this, like that. And you can see 18 lines long. If you look at earth, she, arranged, pockets, slept, stone. There's some rhyme in here, but she did it in a very creative way that you'll see in just a moment. You can see the way the words or the sentences are broken up. There's punctuation, like look at line 5. Line 5, seeds, is punctuated at the end of a sentence, but then there's 2 words and then it's broken. So remember, poems are meant to be read out loud. So the way she breaks up the lines and the way she breaks up the sentences means something. So pay attention to that. But let's go ahead and read to it. You can see it's just one stanza there. So it's a nice short poem. Remember, single speaker, thoughts and feelings. Yeah, it's a lyric. It's a lyric poem. Here we go. I thought the earth remembered me. She took me back so tenderly, arranging her dark skirts, her pockets full of lichens and seeds. I slept as never before, a stone on the riverbed, nothing between me and the white fire of the stars but my thoughts, and they floated light as moths among the branches of the perfect trees. All night I heard the small kingdoms breathing around me, the insects and the birds who do their work in the darkness. All night I rose and fell as if in water, grappling with a luminous doom. By morning, I had vanished at least 12 times into something better. Oh, I think this is so pretty. I think both these poems are really, really, really pretty. So let's talk about this poem. So the whole concept of this poem is that the earth, the way that Mary Oliver describes the earth, I thought the earth remembered me. She describes it like a female earth who is nurturing Mary Oliver, or the speaker of this poem. So think about the earth as a personification of a woman taking care of someone. So she says, to start off, I thought the earth remembered me. So that's the personification of an earth doing something humans can do. And then the earth takes the speaker back so tenderly and then arranges her dark skirts like fog, like if you've ever walked on a trail in the Olympic Park, you've got the ferns and the softness around you. So her dark skirts, so another personification. And then her pockets full of lichens and seeds. So lichens is it's that, well, it's a fungus and an algae. It's a fungus and not an algae. It grows on trees and stuff. And it's kind of got a unique texture. And I'm explaining it very poorly. But anyway, lichen is like what you find on trees and such. And seeds. So she's got her dark skirts and her pockets have the lichen and the seeds. And the speaker is totally comforted. I slept as never before. And then she compares herself to a stone on a riverbed. So imagine you're out at the Elwha and you find some stones and they're just smooth, flat stones, best skipping stones ever. So I slept as never before, and she compares herself to being that stone on the riverbed. So it's just smooth. Everything has just been washed off. Her, the speaker. So not using like or as would be a metaphor, right? So we're still on the metaphor train. And nothing between me and the white fire of the stars. So it's me and nature, like me and the sky. So I'm connected. As a speaker, I'm connected to nature. And then she goes on, but my thoughts, they floated light as moths. So comparing my thoughts, because I'm out in nature. I'm looking at the sky. I see the stars. I'm perfectly comforted. I have all nagging stuff is off my head. It's just gone. I'm just out. Me and my thoughts. And then comparing the thoughts to moths. light as moths. So that's a simile, comparing her thoughts to moths flying up and away. That's a simile. And then you have among the branches of the perfect trees. So you can tell that just a deep respect for nature here. And then all night, the speaker hears the small kingdom breathing around. So if you've ever been camping, I love to go camping, you know, there's the crickets and the grasshoppers and the frogs, and there's other noises you might hear out. You might hear coyotes, things like that. So you have all these small kingdoms, the insects, the birds, and then all night the speaker rose and fell. So it just has dream after dream after dream after dream in this deep, deep sleep. And so she talks about rising and falling as if in deep water. And then some of the dreams, maybe there's a luminous doom. But a luminous doom, luminous means bright, and doom means like dark and something bad happening. So grappling. So you can see the grappling would be struggling. So there's a little note in there. Lichens, they are a fungus and an algae. Yay! I got it. I'll put it on your note on your poem to get that. Who just popped in there. Anyway, so struggling with the doom. And so in the morning, the speaker wakes up. And a dozen times that speaker vanished into something in those deep dreams, living in the beautiful wilderness and feeling one with nature and feeling like rested and clean and connected. And then she says that she vanished into something better. Like the earth has helped her, and I'm going to use her because it's Mary Oliver. The earth has helped her like heal or be better or see something for what it is. Just that the idea of going out in nature and how it can really make you feel a lot better about everything. So anyway, let's take a peek at these questions here. Ooh, a rhyme scheme. So you have earth, me, tenderly. So it's, if you look at the ends of the lines, do word like earth, she, arranging, pocket, slept, stone, nothing, stars, floated, branches, night, breathing birds, night. It's repetition, it's not rhyming. So I don't see a rhyme scheme here, right? So then you could see this free verse poetry all the way. You have a single speaker sharing thoughts and feelings. That would be a lyric poem. So I think I went through lines 1 through 6. I think you can figure that one out. And then 5 through 7, I think I answered that one too. And nothing between me and the white fire of the stars. Lines 7 and 8. Go ahead and answer that one. 9 through 11. Yep, that one I answered already. Lines 11 through 14. Ooh, what does the speaker mean? Oh, I went over that one too. And at the end of the poem, by morning I had vanished at least a dozen times. So I talked about that one too. And then I want you to evaluate it. So enjoy these two poems, and I will see you later.